Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team. Veterinarian Dr. Debbie White, dog trainer Alan Cable, groomer Joey Villani, communicator Joy Turner, and here are your hosts, Al Abrams and Judy Francis.
Well, thank you. Coming up this hour, we'll talk to the owner or guardian of Crispy Bacon, the pot-bellied pig that's in a wheelchair. All part of this exciting hour, of course, I'm sure. You, Stacy Cohn, are working tirelessly for this hour's news. And you see how I'm stalling? I'm waiting for her to get back to her microphone. What are you working on?
Well, we all love our pets, and we want to make sure that they're well protected. Just like your kids, when they're riding a bike, you want to make sure they put their helmet on. What about your guinea pig? Does it have a helmet? Well, if not, I'll tell you how you can get him one. Coming up on Animal Radio News.
That was worth rushing back to the studio for. I'll tell you.
I'm trying to figure out why exactly the guinea pig would be wearing the helmet.
She must have one clumsy guinea pig.
Well, this is why we have to stick around, and that's why they call it a tease. So we'll stick around and find out why the guinea pig wears a helmet. Hey, Catherine, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
Are you in the bathroom? It sounds like you might be in the bathroom.
No, I'm not.
Okay, just a little echoey there.
A little bit of an echo.
Where are you calling from today?
Los Angeles.
What's going on with your animal? I have the dog. I have the whole dream team here for you.
Well, it's my daughter's cat, and she lives in Korea.
Wow.
And she got the cat from Korea, and it's a Scottish fold, I believe that's what they call it.
Okay, yeah.
She got it in June of last year, and since then she's been having problems. He started having, they call it a fungus, and she doesn't, where she lives in Korea, all the apartments have, they put wallpaper on the walls, and they always get mold. So she's lived in a couple of apartments, and they get mold. She left the other one because there's mold, and the landlord will come in and put wallpaper over it again. So in her apartment, she does have mold. Anyway, The cat has had fungus, and the way she describes, it looks like, on the surface, it looks like dandruff. She said it looked like the cat has a lot of dandruff, and then what will happen, crusty, that's how she said, crusty dandruff, and the skin becomes very dry. Then the hair starts to come out, and it comes out in clumps. And one clump, she said, was like 3 inches by 6 inches. And so she went to the doctor. They gave her some pink liquid. She doesn't know what it's called because there's a language barrier. She does speak Korean, but not enough for them to explain what they're giving her. And even though she said it's just beginning to get a little better because she started grooming the cat, because as long as she was just rubbing the solution on, he was licking it, but he has a cone on right now. It just keeps coming back, and right now it's about the size, she described it like thumb size, her thumbnail, but at one point it was all over the body. They did have a blood test, but she doesn't know what the results of the blood test are because of the language thing.
Oh, my goodness. Catherine, I think the biggest challenge is partly this language barrier. Mm-hmm. And in figuring out how even I can help in this situation, we definitely need more information. And this is going to present, kind of fall on your daughter's shoulders to find a means to understand what the veterinarian on the ground is telling her. Because there are different types of fungal skin disease that we can have in cats and dogs. And I'll be honest, some of them are incredibly different in that locale of in the world than what I might be treating here. So some of the most common fungal skin diseases that we have in dogs and cats is ringworm. And that can be frustrating to deal with. There are certainly set dips, medications, and so forth that I can advise to use, but it kind of comes down to, we're talking ringworm, or we're talking something of more of a cutaneous fungal infection, which is more, there are some really peculiar things that we can get, especially in some of the countries on the other side of the world where they can be more well established in the skin. They tend to be involving pets sometimes that have immune systems that don't really combat it and fight it off well, and it can be very frustrating, long-lived to deal with some of these infections for 6 months or more. Some types of these more obscure fungal infections, they need surgery and combined with medication. So the bottom line is we've got to find a way to understand what that veterinarian is saying. So whether it's something where you can use, an iPhone translator app to help figure that out, we need to know what diagnosis they come up with. So if they have a word for that or a diagnosis, that's going to be the first step that we need to know. From there, I can certainly give you some more advice or things about what we might try and what we might use. But in general, when we do treat for fungal infections, blood work is important because a lot of the times we have to use medicines that are hard on the body, and some of them can actually cause liver issues. So we have to be aware where a pet is starting off and then monitor them throughout that treatment. So kind of, again, we're going to go back to we need to know what that veterinarian is trying to communicate and to get that understanding. I know it's hard. I was sick. I was a kid, and I was in Germany for a summer study, and I got sick when I was there, and it was really challenging to try to communicate my symptoms to a doctor who spoke actually very little English, believe it or not, and to try to figure out what I had and tell my mother back in the U.S. what was going on. Back then we didn't have cool things like iPhone translators or, some of the more modern apps. So, those might be the ways that we can help to try to figure that out a bit more. I don't know.
One thing she's planning to do, she's going to bring them back in December. Now, is that going to cause a problem? I have 6 cats. I have 3 inside cats and 3 outside cats. And so if she brings her cat back, will there be a chance of my cats catching whatever her cat has?
Good question. And this is going to go back. We need to know what that cat has. But in general, fungal infections and many of these types of things, yes, I will be concerned that it could be something transmitted. Some of them are opportunist infections that are involved with moisture climates, different environments. But we got to know what that cat has. So I would be concerned, and definitely I would encourage your daughter to try to get those answers so we know what we're dealing with, or at least what kind of class of infection the veterinarian is suspicious over there in Korea.
1-866-405-8405. That is toll free to the Dream Team, and they can answer most questions. They don't speak Korean. Do any of you speak Korean?
I don't. Sorry.
Okay, so
no,
we're gonna have to stick to English or that Jersey.
Dr. Deb, I have a question now. How concerned do they need to be about passing it on to the pet owner? Because a lot of fungal infections are very contagious, even to us. Isn't that correct?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And, just something as common as ringworm, and it is probably the most common fungus that we deal with every day in dogs and cats. So, yeah, that's something, just sharing the same space, getting the pet's hair on you, that it's definitely a risk for people as well. So, yes, it's good that she's worried about her other pets, but, for her own safety and those in her household, we just need to know a little bit more.
Absolutely. Speaking of also contagious, this recall that's been going on in the last few weeks with the Natura products, California natural products, it's salmonella. So even the people that hold this stuff can get sick from it. The humans as well as the dogs.
Yeah, if you have this, take it back to the store where you purchased it. And I have to say, my neighbor has this for her dogs, and I warned her about it. She went to take it back to the store, and the guy at the pet store says, don't worry about it. You can keep feeding it to your dog. They'll be fine.
Unless they have a compromised immune system.
But
you know what? Find a new pet store.
Yeah, I said, no, you take that back and get a different type of
Why didn't you eat it, buddy?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I would have said. Here, try it.
Hey, Scott.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How you doing today?
Not too bad. And yourself?
Very good. What's up in your world?
Not too bad. We have 2 miniature dachshunds, one 9 pounds and one 15. And one of them, the bigger one, we got from a shelter, and she has really bad teeth. Like they didn't take care of it at all when before we got her. And we're wondering if there's anything that can be done. We still, brush the teeth and stuff, but I didn't know if there's anything to get the teeth back to normal. Looks like they're got really bad teeth right now.
Okay, yeah, and dachshunds, I'll say right off of the bat, dachshunds sometimes can really have exaggerated periodontal problems compared to some other breeds, especially little dogs. So if you have a little dog, we really want to jump on dental care very early on. And in your situation there, Scott, if you've adopted and she's kind of not had dental care up till now, we're going to have to start from scratch. And I think the first thing that we need to do is really see about getting a professional dental cleaning. And that's very important because to try to brush teeth on a dog that has advanced dental disease, it's a painful process. So you want to start fresh with healthy teeth. So see your veterinarian, get a cleaning, polishing scheduled, and, see if there's any problem teeth in there that need to come out of there. In many cases, we need to deal with those problems before we can actually get on a good preventative care regimen at home. But you're definitely right to be worried because, we know that dental disease is a big problem and we know it causes a lot of other health manifestations in the body. And in fact, by the age of 3 years, 85% of all dogs and cats will have some degree of periodontal disease. So it's really a very startling thing. And if you're not making efforts now, it is time. So once you get your dog's teeth cleaned, there are some important things that you can do at home. But again, this is secondary after you get those teeth taken care of at the vet office. And brushing teeth by far is the best thing. If you do it 3 times a week, you're going to have some benefit. Once every 6 weeks when you go to the groomers, isn't going to do it. So you want to make sure you use a doggy toothpaste and really start slowly to get your pet used to that brushing sensation. But even if that's not something that your dog will take to, there's some other products out there, oral rinses that you can apply to the gum line. There's additives you add to the water that can actually help prevent plaque accumulation on the teeth. And then, of course, most people know about the treats and the different dental diets out there. And actually, some of them are actually proven to have a benefit. And there is a organization called the Veterinary Oral Health Council, and there's actually a seal of approval that they give to very common dental treats and diets. So some of those things may be another avenue that we can use. And again, once that mouth is clean, we've got a good, healthy starting point to get things started.
All right, well, thanks a lot for your help.
Thanks, Scott, for your call.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Hey folks, this is Jackson Galaxy. You're listening to Animal Radio. Please do everyone a favor, spay or neuter your animals today.
I would love to go on vacation, but I don't want to leave our Charlie behind.
I agree. I heard that the magazine Fido Friendly lists places where you can stay with your pet. They also offer reviews so you have an idea about pet policy to include any restrictions, fees, and what pet amenities to expect.
That's, dare I say, awesome. What are we waiting for?
I'm way ahead of you. I just logged on to FidoFriendly.com and found a 4-star resort. Hilton Santa Fe Resort and Spa at Buffalo Thunder in New Mexico.
Charlie agrees. When do we leave?
As soon as you can pack your bags. It's off to adventure with Charlie, thanks to Fido Friendly Magazine. To find your next family adventure that includes your furry family friend, log on to FidoFriendly.com.
You found us. We're Animal Radio, my friend. Celebrating our connection with our pets. Don't forget you can do that also on your Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. Listen to Animal Radio anytime and ask your questions of the Dream Team. And that Dream Team being, of course, Dr. Debbie, dog trainer Alan Cable, dog father Joey Villani, and animal communicator Joy Turner. Hey, Tom, how are you doing?
Oh, I got a Jack Russell mix, and I'm trying to train him to use the leash, and whenever I put the leash on him, he spazzes out.
Oh, wow. Okay, so what is he exactly doing? Does he fall down to the ground? Does he scratch at it?
That's what he starts off with, and then when I continue, then he just pulls against it, choking himself, because I do use a choke collar, and it gets to the point I think that he's going to end up hurting himself, and I quit. I take it off.
Okay. And does he wear a collar or something outside of the time when you try to put the leash on him? Does he regularly wear something?
No, he doesn't.
Okay. Well, there's the first step. And in dealing with a pet that has anxiety about a leash and is kind of balking at it, pulling backwards. I've had dogs where they'll just drop and just kind of lay there, kind of like, they're playing possum. They won't move until you actually remove it. First step is... That's
what he starts off with.
And then if you try to push him past what he's comfortable, then he's saying the bets are off and I'm trying to get away.
Right.
Okay. So, yeah, the first step is to get him accustomed and being comfortable with wearing something on his neck. The worst thing you can do is try to put a collar and leash on a pet who's not already comfortable with that. So the first thing is to get him used to a collar of some form. And for every pet, this may be a little different. Sometimes, even a nylon collar for a dog that's not accustomed to it, it feels weird. They can freak out. They'll scratch. And all puppies go through this a little bit when they're about 6 weeks to 8 weeks of age when you first get these guys, and if you get a collar on them at that point, they really work through it and they kind of forget about it. So it's more when we have these adult dogs that haven't been used to having a collar and leash on them that you'll run into the brick wall, if you will. So some dogs, a light leash, a light nylon collar will be fine. Others, I'll put a cat collar on, which is usually a little lighter weight, or even just something as simple as some yarn. And you want to make sure they're comfortable with it. You praise them when you put it on them, and definitely don't push them into that next step of putting a leash on until we've worked through that phase initially. Food, love, rewards, all very important while you're doing this. And then once you get them used to the collar, then you can move up to trying to put a leash on them. But the same thing holds true. So a dog that's afraid of a leash, the last thing we want to do is put a big metal choker on them and get him used to that. We're going to start slow. So you might go with a cat leash. At the vet clinic here, we typically have little giveaway leashes that we give away to clients if they need it to get their pet outside safely. They're very lightweight, really flat little nylon collars. Those are great for this kind of training. Sometimes for some dogs that are really sensitive, going back to something like yarn, just putting that on the collar may be all that they're going to be comfortable with. So you kind of have to work up in baby steps to that.
Well, whenever we put a collar on him, and we've tried this before several times, it always ends the same. He either gets it off by slipping out of it, or if he can't slip out of it, he chews it off. And we even went to a halter. I tried a halter, and he managed to chew it up, and he always destroys it.
Okay. And what I'm going to recommend that you do isn't going to be to put a collar on and leave it on him. That's not going to do us any good. So you may just take a little collar, a little something lightweight, and you're going to put it on the back of his neck, and you're just going to rest it there. And then you're going to feed him. And then you're going to take that off and put it away, and it's not going to be on him. You're only going to pair it with something that is pleasurable. Food, love, toys, something that he likes. Short little exposures. This is going to take time. You can do it, but you can't expect that he's going to just work through it on his own. So really small, short exposures of time, putting something as simple as this little light leash on the back of his neck. Drape it over his shoulders. Let it sit there and praise him when he is calm and he's looking at you in a calm, easygoing way. If his ears are back, he's darting around, he's trying to escape, you don't want to praise him for that behavior. That's not what we want. But you need to find something to help motivate him, help him feel comfortable about that, and just keep the exposures really, really short until you can get up there. And like I said, this isn't easy, and you can't push these guys because they definitely can have some phobias about it. There are some dogs that have generalized anxieties and will be fearful of other things, noises, coats, different situations. And if I have a pet that has more than one phobia, then a lot of times I will use some drug therapy to kind of help work through some of this training. But really, this just comes down to the nitty-gritty of just getting him used to the idea of a leash and collar. So you can do it. Right. I know you can.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for your call, Tom. Good luck with that. Let us know. If you need follow-up, we do follow-ups.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too.
When a Memphis man died without a will, leaving a $2 million estate, friends and relatives started fighting. But not about the money, about Alex. Alex is a 13-year-old golden retriever who was owned by 35-year-old Ron Callan, who committed suicide on New Year's Day. The four-way dispute over Alex was so intense, an attorney was appointed to represent the dog's interest. A judge finally decided the man's divorced parents should split custody. His father takes Alex to work with him every day, and a previous girlfriend gets Alex on some nights because his father has cats. Callan's fiancé was also interested in taking care of Alex, who needs arthritis treatments. The dog's attorney said he believes all 4 people love Alex and would take good care of him, but were using the fight for the dog to punish each other for past transgressions. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio.
Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
Thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing. If you've written a book, they can help you through the process, cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If they decide to publish your book, your work ends, theirs begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art. Plus, get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and in bookstores across the country. They even help promote your book. Biography, self-help, mystery, novels, sci-fi, or even a children's book. No matter what genre, Page Publishing can bring your book to life. And don't forget to ask about audiobooks. We do all of this for you. Call today for your free writer's guide packed with tips, tricks, and templates to help you finish what you started.
800-215-6815. 800-215-6815. 800-215-6815. That's 800-215-6815.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
I'm Stacey Cohen for Animal Radio. Some new meaning to the phrase pigging out. A pig farmer in Washington state says the secret to better bacon could be pot. Marijuana. Seattle's BB Ranch founder William von Schneidow told NBCNews.com he started using the leftover stems, stalks, and leaves from the state's now legal dispensaries to feed his animals. It's a lot of pot to feed a bunch of pigs. He also says he doesn't smoke any of that himself. He explains that the pigs that eat the weed usually just lie around. They gain about 20% weight faster than those that don't, just like people. Those extra pounds lead to pork with a marbled, fattier texture, and many people taking part in the so-called blind bacon test, they say the weed-infused meat is more savory. He also said his special pork is constantly selling out, but it's not necessarily because the customers have the munchies. He says nobody's reported getting high while eating or cooking the meat. A mom and her son are facing the long arm of the law after allegedly stealing some furry feet. This is a bizarre story. According to the Minnesota newspaper, the Post Bulletin, Tina Marie Garrison and her son, 18-year-old Junior Lee Dillon, are accused of stealing bags of gopher feet. A local gopher trapper contacted the Fillmore County Sheriff's Department last December. He claimed that several bags of gopher feet had been stolen from his freezer between November 23rd and December 5th. Well, police were able to track down Dillon and Garrison after contacting local townships that give cash rewards. Here's the clue. Cash rewards for gophers in order to control the population. They found that Garrison turned in nearly $4,000 worth of gopher feet. While Dillon collected an additional $1,000, Dillon was interviewed in December. He denied stealing the feet, saying somebody probably used his name when they turned in the feet. The pair have been charged with both felony and misdemeanor counts of receiving stolen property and theft. Garrison pleaded not guilty to the charges, while Dillon is awaiting a trial next month. You know, rabbit's feet, you kind of understand. You carry them around with you for a little while. You feel lucky. Gopher's feet, not quite the same thing. That's a lot of feet to have in the freezer. Can you imagine if somebody came over, they were hungry? Think, I'll just make a sandwich for myself. Oh, watch out for the gopher feet. I'm Stacey Cohen. Get more animal breaking news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update. Get more at animalradio.com.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Here's Hal and Judy.
Listen, we were talking a few minutes ago, or Stacy was talking about this pig that ate pot.
A farmer is feeding pot
scraps
to pigs.
Pigs. I guess just the stems and the sticks and stuff like that.
I guess.
Here's a story about a pig. This is one inspirational pig. Crispy Bacon is his name. I think they just call him Crisp right now. He was a pot-bellied pig who was developmentally disabled when he was born with, not developmentally, physically disabled when he was born with no back legs. And in fact, I'll let the owner, which happens to be the veterinarian who took care of him, Dr. Len Lucero, on the phone. How are you doing, Doc?
Oh, I'm doing good. How are you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's such an interesting story. Now, this pig came into your office, I assume?
He did, yeah. And I guess you could say, too, that he was developmentally disabled because he didn't quite develop right.
He was a patient, your patient.
You're a veterinarian.
And the person who brought him in, I guess, wanted to euthanize him? Put him to sleep?
Right. So he wasn't quite a patient yet. You know, what happened was the young lady who who brought him in was actually trying to save him. So he was a day old, and I guess after talking with her parents and her being a college student, just not having the time and the knowledge of what all it was going to take to get him, I guess, to thrive and really live out a full life, she was talking about these things with her parents and decided that, you know what, I don't know if I can do this, and I'm not sure it's fair to the animal. It's not fair to me. So, she came into the hospital looking for some kind of answer, and not knowing a whole lot about what her options were. She assumed euthanasia was the only answer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sure.
So when she put him on the table, this little guy was full of life. So there was no way that I could bring myself to euthanize the little pig. Not a healthy pig. Yeah, he's born with congenital defect, but who's to say that's any reason to euthanize? This guy's going to stay at a manageable weight. Shouldn't be too tough.
You decided to adopt him because you didn't want him to be euthanized, and I guess you took an erector set of your kids?
Right, yeah. So, Connects was a fun little building block set that my son and I used to mess around with when he was tiny, and we used to make all kinds of cars with them and just make these really cool roller coasters, and it was perfect. So I just framed out a little wheelchair. These wheelchairs and the idea of wheelchairs as an aid for handicapped animals has been around for a long time, but he was less than a pound, so I had to get creative with what I was going to use, and what better than something that you can just snap together really quickly and adjust it as you need to.
But how do you get him to use it? God, I tried to put a leash on a puppy and they just lay down like they can't move. How do you get him to actually move?
I think I'm kind of fortunate on that aspect that he wanted to go. So if he wanted to stay, well, then I'd probably run into those same problems.
I understand that now you've hooked up with HandicappedPets.com, and we've spoken to them in the past.
Oh, yes,
and
they've been on the
customized a wheelchair for Chris.
That's correct. Yeah, they've actually given me one that he's in now, and it's the Walking Wheels Mini, and it's made for smaller breed dogs. And they send me things that, because the anatomy is so different from a pig to a dog, there's modifications that have to be made. And I call up one of the representatives there and kind of, I don't know what to do here, or hey, how about we cut off the struts and make this a little bit longer? And they're just so helpful.
Oh, yes, they're great guys, and they also put together a Facebook page for Chris and a Twitter account and a web page. You should all check it out. We don't have a lot of time left, but I want to ask Joy, our animal communicator, to ask Chris, how he's feeling. Does he like this?
Oh, Chris has just been in my head since you guys started talking. He is so completely enthralled with the fact that he can be like this great thing, this great icon, and be able to show everybody that pigs really aren't stupid, that they really can be smart. And he is so incredibly grateful that he's having this opportunity. He thinks he's like the goodwill ambassador for pigs.
I understand, Doctor, that this has been an inspiration for a lot of people that are disabled, and you take them around to schools and such.
I have, yes, and he's been an inspiration to everyone, not just the disabled. There was a young kid that wrote him a song, and it's a really, really good song. I posted it on his website this weekend, and he's inspired. He's not disabled.
I'm going to go ahead and link to that, and in fact, we'll put links and pictures up at the website at animalradio.com so you can see Crispy. Doc, thank you so much for what you've done and sharing your story with us today.
Oh, you're very welcome, and thank you guys for having me. It's always a pleasure.
I wonder what would happen if we got him together with the farmer that fed his pigs marijuana, and what would happen. It could be an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah, you don't want to drive under the influence. No.
Exactly.
Funny thing, you guys should mention that, because when I was looking for Chris the pig, the other pigs jumped in my mind.
Really? Other pigs?
They did. The ones that are doing the marijuana thing.
Oh,
my.
And what did they have to say?
The funny thing is,
We're
I have
hungry.
actually spoken to quite a number of pigs over the time that I've been doing this, and believe it or not, these pigs actually came across, how people who are high on pot, they sound kind of different.
I know. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly
how they sounded?
what these pigs sound. They did. They sounded exactly like that. It was just really funny. It's kind of, if they were human, they'd be going, oh, wow, man.
Hey, it's Vinny Penn, your party animal, coming at you on Animal Radio, and glad to be here. Hope you're glad to be listening. You know one saying that I've got to tell you, it may be true, it may not be true. I always encourage the Animal Radio listeners to shoot me an email at vinny@animalradio.com. But even if this is true, which I would really find that hard to believe, I'm sick of hearing it. And that's the saying, hey, dogs' mouths are cleaner than humans. My two beloved dogs, you know, I always gave them kisses on the head, playing with their ears, and them I never really did. I'm going to come right out and say it, you know, the French kiss with my dog or the full-on, their tongue lapping at my lips kiss. I never really did that. When I see people doing that, I'm always just... Especially after you've just seen the dog, in particular, spend a good 20 minutes giving himself, quite frankly, I'll come right out and say it, a genital bath. And the person says, oh, come on, you know, the dogs' mouths are cleaner than humans. I'm finding it hard to believe. Is there doggy scope? Has anybody, can I go to a pet's? I haven't been in a while. Is there doggy scope? Is there doggy floss? I know my two dogs didn't get up in the morning and brush their teeth. So how is it possible that this dog who just ate a lizard, lapped at his own crotch region, maybe even ate his own feces or licked another dog's butt, his mouth is really cleaner than your own, you're saying? If that's the case, then might I suggest you just have all of your teeth and your gums removed. Just stitch your mouth up, because if your dog's mouth is cleaner than yours, then yours should never be allowed to be open again. Urban myth? Dog's mouth cleaner than a human's? Gotta be. Vinny Penn, party animal, on Animal Radio.
Check out Animal Radio highlights. All the good stuff without the blah, blah, blah. Browse on over to animalradio.pet.
Is diabetes keeping you from enjoying life's special moments? At US Med, we understand the challenges you face, and we're here to help.
With US Med, I can finally manage my diabetes without it managing me.
US Med offers a wide range of services to simplify your diabetes care. Personalized care plans, convenient access to cutting-edge diabetes tech, and knowledgeable support. Plus, we'll check your insurance so your diabetes care may be covered at little or no cost to you.
With US Med, I feel confident and control of my diabetes. I can finally live my life to the fullest.
Don't let diabetes hold you back. Choose US Med and experience better birthdays, better adventures, better anniversaries, and better everything. Call now. US Med. Better service. Better care. 800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. That's 800-434-5019.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
And we go to Debbie, who has a behavioral question. I got to say, Alan called in sick this morning. I think he might have had a bad enchilada last night, and I really didn't want him in the studio. So I'm turning this call over to Dr. Debbie, who I'm sure is perfectly able to answer this, aren't you?
Able and ready.
Okay.
So what can I do for you here, Debbie?
All right, I'm calling. I recently, about 6 months ago, rescued a dog. She's in the Chihuahua family. She's a real good dog. They were going to put her down because they couldn't keep her. And she's been a real good dog. She gets fine with our other Chihuahua. But when we take her out for a walk on a leash, she seems to get really aggressive when she sees other dogs. She starts jumping up in the air and acting all crazy. And she just, she wants to be aggressive towards the other dog. And I'm afraid to get her around the dog because I'm afraid of what she might do. Is she being aggressive, or is it just her wanting to be towards them?
Well, it kind of depends. Now, has she ever had the encounter where she actually is doing all this stuff and acting crazy, and then she does actually physically contact or come really close to another dog? What does she do?
I'm afraid to do that. I don't want to have to, you know.
Do you have other, family members with dogs? Does she do this to them, or is this just only unfamiliar dogs outside of the home?
Only unfamiliar dogs. I have grandkids. She's excellent with them. She loves them. She can't wait for them to come over and see them. But when it comes to being around other dogs, she gets aggressive. Anyone can come around her. She'll be looking at them at first, and then she gets to know them, and she's fine. So I don't know if I should take the step and let her go next to another dog and see how she reacts. I'm kind of afraid to do that.
Yeah, well, and you asked what's causing this, and there can be different motivations for dogs when they display this behavior. Sometimes it's just anxiety. They're freaked out. They see another critter. They want to get near them. They want to have an interaction, but they're tethered, and that creates a type of basically emotional anxiety. There are other dogs that it's more a matter of protectiveness. The leash is an extension of your arm, and if a dog is protective, particularly of family members, then that leash, as far as that's extending, is how far that zone is that they feel the need to protect. So there can be totally different situations for different pets, and I'd say, it takes a little more work to figure out exactly where your pet fits in with this, but the general things that I would say is, no, we don't want to allow interaction if we're not in control of the situation, and it all comes back to you as the pet parent to be in control. And a lot of working with a pet who has leash aggression, and that's actually what we call it, leash aggression, is that we want to make sure that we can focus their attention on us and maintain ourselves as the one in control of the situation. And this has to go back to the whole basics, and I know Alan will talk my ear off all the time about these kind of things when we're talking about behavior training and leash training, and it's really the foundation to your whole relationship with your dog. If you do not have control of your pet on a leash, doing sit, stay, down, come, then you can't expect him to behave well on the end of the leash when you're out for a walk. So a lot of this goes back to practicing good leash behaviors in the privacy of your own home or backyard, and making sure that your pet has those commands down. And one very important thing when we're dealing with a pet with leash aggression is we want to focus their attention on us, not on those distractions that are going nearby, whether they're other people or animals. We need to be able to control the situation by focusing your doggy's attention on you. So the way we do that is we find what motivates your dog. Food, maybe a toy, a squeaky, something like that. There are folks that do clicker training for the same reason, because you can click one of those little clicker things, pair it with a positive thing like a treat or a snack or affection, and they get the idea that the clicker means pay attention to me. And that's what we need to practice and focus on in a quiet scenario without those other dogs present. We can't expect to jump up to the, go into a dog park and expecting to be able to train or to practice this kind of thing. You have to do this at home when it's quiet. And that's really kind of the mainstay, is starting to do that, focusing your pet's attention. And then when we can build up to things, we're going to try to maybe just go outside the door, go in the front yard, maybe just where there's some animals or people nearby. And we start at a threshold where it's very light, and we might see a dog or maybe hear him in the background, but we're not going to allow our pet to get excited. If you see any signs that your doggy is starting to get excited, barking, getting all worked up, then we need to take control of that situation. Say, no, sit down, paw, and we're going to redirect their attention back to you and then praise them when they do that. So that's very important, and there's no point in, if your doggy's yelling or barking and carrying on looking at another dog, don't yell back. Don't say stop it, and pull the leash, because that just freaks them out more, and it just like throws gasoline on a fire for a dog that's having that
what
kind
I've
of
always done is I brought her in real close to me and kind of huddled down with her and told her, it's okay, and talked calmly to her.
No, stop it. So what you're doing is, if she's already displaying that behavior, you're rewarding it by doing that.
Oh,
so
okay.
Think of what she's barking, she's carrying on. She says, get away from me, you dog, you smelly scoundrel. And you just sit down and you pet her and say, good girl, it's okay. She just did what she wanted.
Because I want her to calm down, and I thought that would be the best thing to do, was to try to get her to calm down.
Yeah, and if you're already in that scenario, the best thing I could tell you is you want to turn your body, turn her away, and start walking in another direction and maintain control. Don't even talk to her. Just really go in another direction and then get her out of the sight of that dog. Then get her to sit, listen to you, do a behavior, and then you reward her for that. You don't want to reward her anywhere near that time that she's demonstrating like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but don't coddle her when she's acting up, because that definitely will make that worse.
That's the one thing I learned this year, in fact, is that when our dog, we want her to feel comfortable around another dog, and she's barking at that dog, and we cuddle her, we pet her, we're kind of feeding fuel to the fire. We're telling her it's okay to be mad at that other dog, or to be angry, or to be barking, or to be...
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. So, yeah, you know you're the problem all along, Hal, and we've known that too. So.
Do you have an old car sitting around your house? Maybe you're even paying insurance on it. Well, if you don't need that car anymore, donate it, running or not, to the United Breast Cancer Foundation. They will even come and pick it up for free and give you a receipt for a tax donation. Breast cancer screening could save the life of someone you love. And right now, they need your help. They want to save more lives through early detection by offering women free or low-cost breast screening exams. And that's what your old car helps to pay for. So get your phone out and call right now to donate your car to the United Breast Cancer Foundation. Remember, they will come pick it up for free and give you a tax donation receipt. Call right now.
800-793-4880. 800-793-4880. 800-793-4880. That's 800-793-4880.
Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team. Veterinarian Dr. Debbie White, dog trainer Alan Cable, groomer Joey Villani, communicator Joy Turner, and here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
Wow, we got a lot going on today. Joey's walked into the studio with a can of Oxy, a can of Gold Bond, and a can of cornstarch. So I don't know if he's going to be cooking for us or...
I don't want to eat that.
On the show today, from the Steve Miller Band, guitarist Kenny Lee Lewis will be joining us. He's a big animal lover, and he's just about to start off his tour. This is what he calls his money tour. I think he takes 3 months off 3 months during every year to pay the bills. How do you like my new shoes? Pretty cool.
They're blinding how they're so white.
They are blinding. I got these at the bowling alley for 75 cents. Not a lot of people know this, but you can get shoes from the bowling alley for 75 cents. Just a little tip.
Oh, boy.
Stacy, what are you working so hard on?
Aren't puppy kisses the best?
Sure.
I love them when they tickle your little toes or your fingers or kiss your face. Well, what if they were licking your toes and then all of a sudden decided to eat one? You think you might wake up and notice if you were sleeping? Well, there's a man that not only did his puppy eat one of his toes, he kind of ate his whole foot almost, but he didn't know until he woke up. I'll tell you about it coming up on Animal Radio News.
I can't wait for that. Stacy, of course, uncovering the stories that really count. And we're going to go to, how about Chris? Hey, Chris, how are you doing?
Could be richer.
Oh, me too. Well, we're rich in a special way. It may not be money, but we have a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right, he says.
My son lives up on a mountain ridge in Pennsylvania, and we have more than our fair share of bears. Right now, he's got 2 of them, and one of them is, he's being okay when the dogs go out. He's got 3 dogs. He runs up a tree like he's supposed to. But there's another one that my son describes as the biggest animal he has ever seen. He comes right up onto his porch, which is also his deck, and when the dogs try to run him off, he just kind of looks like them with this look on his face like, what do you think you're doing here? This is my deck. And my son has gone out there with his shotgun and shot it up in the air, and the bear just looks at him like, what are you making noise for?
Oh, no.
Hunting season is several months away. The animal people have been up there trying to figure out, they put traps up, and, of course, that's not working. Mm-hmm. We think the big bear has been trapped once before and was relocated to my son's neighborhood. So he's not going to crawl into a trap again.
Yeah.
And he's going to try to get into the house.
Oh, sure. And, the biggest thing with bears is, food motivates them to do a lot of things and put themselves in scenarios where we don't think that they would be comfortable with. So that's the biggest thing, that when we're dealing with bears kind of crossing into our realm, into our environments, is to ensure that we're doing everything we can to make it less favorable for them to want to come in close to our homes. And that's usually taking control of food, garbage, any kind of edibles, whether it's fruit trees, things of that nature. So that's the first thing that really to make sure that we do, is that we're not leaving garbage out. If it's in, preferably we keep garbage indoors or in a shed, and only put it out or take it to the dump when it's time, because that they'll keep coming back if they've got that. Or if you feed birds, if you have bird feeders out, that's a great thing that they'll be attracted to. Dog food sitting outside in bowls, all of these things are food sources, so they really have to be zero attractants and desire for them to want to come nearby. So that's definitely the one big thing that I would suggest to do. And bears don't always scare, and if the dogs aren't scaring this one, it may be hard. And sometimes you do have to call in the wildlife authorities, where they'll have the bear deterrent crews. And I've seen this, in different documentaries where, they use sometimes even, not just regular bullets, but even rubber bullets to try to scare them away. They have to train them to be afraid of being around people. So hopefully those local authorities, can have the right resources for that. But you got to clean up everything. I mean, garbage, clean those garbage cans out. Motion activated lights, if they're getting close, you can try activating them. Some of the really bright halogen lights. So if they're coming near the home at night or near where your garbage is secured, you have something like that to help deter them and to kind of scare them away. But I feel for you, man, because, it's hard when wildlife gets close to your home. You have a responsibility and a right to, make sure everyone's safe and protected there. So sometimes you got to do what you need to do and call those people.
Well, I think you nailed it. The garbage is taken inside the house. My son, even this year, planted 12 more fruit trees.
Oh, yeah. And that's hard, because if you have one, then it's reasonable to say you're going to go around and pick up the fallen fruit and things like that. But if you've got a grove that you've got, that's just asking them to come close to the home. So I'm not saying chop those trees down, but you just got to weigh the pros and cons, and that might be something that if those bears are attracted to, they're going to keep coming.
Yeah, he was planting the fruit trees for the deer. And there's an added bonus, I think.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
the deer
scent or anything we could put out there that they're afraid of, that you know of?
Well, as far as different scents, just cleaning up, if you have like the garbage areas, there are definitely some folks that will advocate putting lime in there just to help kind of cover up the odors of garbage. As far as deterrence, scents, I'm not really aware of anything that's good to keep them away. The biggest thing is to keep the food odors away. So even like garbage, you can vacuum pack garbage or make sure that, you keep any of the food related garbage out at a very minimum, just when you're, disposing of things. I feel for you, man. I hope the deer come around, but I hope the bears go away.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for your call, Chris. Thanks for listening to Animal Radio. Don't forget that Dr. Debbie's books on Shih Tzus, Pugs, and Mini Schnauzers available. If you have one of those, you should check out How to Be Your Dog's Best Friend. It's an ebook, and we link to it from animalradio.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the dog father, Joey Villani. How are you doing?
Hey, I am going to give you the three, what I feel is the most essential products that you should have for your pet. That's just everyday general household products that if you kept in your house, you know what, you'd be a much happier person, and it would save you a lot of money, and you'll have everything to cover all bases. So let's start here.
Okay.
Number one, every one of them are powdered based.
Okay.
First thing I'm going to tell you is you want medicated powder, Gold Bond.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what is it good for? It's good anytime your dog gets any type of skin allergy, skin rash, is a little bit itchy, maybe went to the groomer, got a little bit of razor burn, which sometimes happen. And what you do is you put a little bit of the medicated powder on, and you know what? It works wonders. The dog stops scratching. They're not itchy anymore. And it also helps heal. That's number one. You can use it on everything here. You could use, for other things in your household.
I use it on myself.
Yeah, me too.
Too
too.
much information,
Okay,
guys.
sorry.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, the other thing is cornstarch. Now, cornstarch I talk about all the time. It's a great quick cleaning tool to absorb dirt, oil, grease, and you'll sprinkle it on your dog or cat. Okay, and the medicated powder I wouldn't put on the cat, but the cornstarch you can use on your dog or your cat. You sprinkle it in the coat. You work it through with your hands or a brush, and then you brush it all out. The best thing to do is put your pet on a towel so you don't make a mess. The cornstarch goes down into the towel, and that's after it absorbs the dirt and oil. And you'd be surprised, very surprised, of how much cleaner your pet's going to look. And the last thing, and it's probably my favorite one because I use it on everything, and I think I'm the guy that paraded this more than anyone, and I'm sure you know what it is.
No, I don't.
It's Oxy. It's oxygen-based cleaner. OxyClean.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to tell you. You mix a scoop of that with a gallon of very warm to hot water, and what you could do is you can use it on your upholstery, you can use it on your carpets, you can use it anywhere your pet's going to soil or leave any type of organic odor, okay, which could be fecal matter, vomit, all of that, and it's going to clean it right up, and it's usually going to pull the stain out. Now, the other good thing about it is it's probably one of the best skunk odor remedies that I've ever used. And for a skunk, what you would do is add literally 1 drop of dish detergent to that gallon of water. And again, don't make it too hot where you're going to burn the dog, but it has to be warm enough for it to really work good. And you're going to shake it up. Now, what the soap does, it gives the product it's like a bonding agent. It's not going to just run right off your pet. It's going to hold it there. And while it's drying, the smell is going to probably intensify in most cases. When it's dry, you're going to be surprised of how much better your dog smells. Now, the one thing I'm going to tell you right now is if your dog is sprayed by a skunk and you're using this, don't wet it first, because you're going to build a bond between the skunk spray, which is an oil base, and the water. So you want to use this directly on it. Let this penetrate. Don't rinse it off. Don't ever rinse it off. And if you need to put a little in a spray bottle, to get in areas maybe around the top of the head, around the ears, keep it out of the eyes completely. It's not good for the eyes, but otherwise it's non-toxic.
Oh, good to know.
It's safe for your dog, safe for your puppies, safe for your kitten, safe for you. Okay, so we're going green, too, a little bit today.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Joey Villani on Animal Radio, the dog father.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too.
Everybody's had trouble finding their car keys or maybe a TV remote, but when a California man lost his false teeth, he was convinced he didn't just misplace them. 68-year-old Bill Exner blamed the mouse, a mouse that Bill and his wife had captured 3 times, and 3 times it escaped. He last remembered seeing his dentures on his nightstand, and after searching all over the house for them, he convinced his daughter's fiancé to take a crowbar and hammer to the closet wall with a small hole in it where he'd seen the mouse run in. After tearing up some molding, the dentures were retrieved. Bill's future son-in-law suggested boiling the dentures in peroxide before putting them in. Bill's wife says the mouse frequently comes out and stares at him, taunting him. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio.
Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
Hi, everybody. This is Lori Morgan reminding you to please spay or neuter your pets.
With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Call us to get your Care Watch right now.
800-705-1198. 800-705-1198. 800-705-1198. That's 800-705-1198.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Find us at animalradio.com. Log on, learn more.
Answering the behavior questions for Alan Cable today would be Dr. Debbie. Pulling double duty.
Yeah, I hope my paycheck looks bigger this week.
I hope so, too. Last week we were talking about the world's ugliest dog. In fact, we had the founder of the world's ugliest dog contest on the air with us. And she didn't tell us that she was going to crown another ugly dog last week.
I know. A new one was coming up.
She apparently did. A huge-headed, duck-footed mix of a beagle, boxer, and a basset hound was the 25th annual world's ugliest dog. Wally is his name. He's a 4-year-old mutt from Chico, who entered at the last minute and who was judged the most unsightly out of 30 dogs. Apparently, the last few years, it's all been these Chinese crested, these hairless dogs. So this was kind of nice to change it up.
Something else,
yes.
yeah.
I'm looking for the picture here. I can't find the picture of him. I really want to see that.
I have to say that the Chinese crested really have a corner on the market, though. They really do.
They do. They have for several years now.
They really are ugly.
Between the zits they have on their back, the tongue hanging out, and the cataracts, they really do. They can make a really kind of staggering look.
Well, with Wally, judges say they were especially impressed by his bizarre waddle. He has his dog that waddles, apparently. He wins $1,500 and will make several TV appearances over the next week. I wanted to ask Joy, our animal communicator, if they could tune in to Wally, if you could tell me what Wally thinks about this win as the world's ugliest dog.
He has absolutely no thought about it at all. It's like, who cares?
He's not offended by that, no?
He's not offended. He's not pleased. He's just like, blah.
Really?
Yeah.
You think he'd be at least a little bit proud.
Proud or offended?
Yes.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's just like, who cares? It's like, I don't care. It's a human thing. Makes no difference to me. I'm just who I am. Don't talk to me about it. It's all right. Fine. Just don't make a big fuss.
Well, congratulations to Wally. Let's dedicate this show to him if we can.
Wally.
Also, this video that's circulating on the internet, if you haven't had a chance to see it, about the monkey that bit the police officer.
I saw that.
Realize this, but apparently some police officers have goggles, or not goggles, a camera from their glasses cam.
Oh, really?
Not just in their car, but on their glasses. And this is how this particular video was taken.
Oh, wow.
A rookie officer giving a speeding ticket to someone. As soon as he handed the pen and the paper over to have the ticket signed, the little monkey reached out, pulled his hand in, and bit him.
Our officers really need more hazard pay. I got to tell you, they worry about guns, and now they got monkeys jumping out at them. Oh.
We're going to post that video over at animalradio.com if you want to see it. Yes.
Good thing he had a video. Can you imagine going back and trying to explain? No, really, it was a monkey. And be like,
Let's go to Kara. Hey, Kara, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Where are you calling from today?
I'm from Minnesota.
Minnesota. I love Minnesota. I just love how you guys talk. What's going on?
Okay, so I have a cat, and if I were to get another cat, well, then my cat that I have now doesn't get along with that one. Like, she'll hiss, poof her tail up, meow, and I was wondering, is there like a way that I can, get her to become friends if I wanted to get another cat, or?
So you have 2 cats already, and they're not getting along?
No, I only have one, and I want to get another one.
All right. So, I mean, there's definitely some big guidelines that I can give you, and I'll tell you that the couple big mistakes that people do when they're adding a cat to the home. Number one is that they don't match the personalities of the cats. So it's more important to match a personality to a like cat than it is of, say, the male-female thing. We don't really worry about that in cats. Dogs, we talk about it. In cats, it doesn't matter if a male is with a female. What we want is the personality to be compatible. So if you have a very outgoing cat that's kind of an in-your-face, more aggressive cat, in the sense that, is more vocal, more demanding, then you want a cat with a similar personality. What you don't want to get is a really kind of laid-back, passive, not a very interactive cat, because they're going to have more likeliness of problems. So that's the first thing, is really look for that same kind of personality. Now, I'm not saying go out and find an aggressive cat, but really just a cat that's more bold, outgoing, and that is less apt to have fear with new situations. So that's the biggest thing. The next thing that I'll tell you is that when you do add a new cat, the biggest mistake we make is that we push the kitties too fast together. And cats, their whole behavior and socialization, they move at a different pace than dogs do. So you really got to give them their space, introduce them gradually, and you want to make sure that that's going to be done even with separation. So a cat might be in one part of the house, and then the other cat will be in the other part of the house. You switch bedding so they get used to each other's scents, and then we gradually put them together. That's the best way to let them get used to things. Now, the other thing I'm going to tell you is that if you've got an adult cat, you really should be looking for a young cat. Age does matter, because that also helps to facilitate an introduction. If you've got a young cat that's coming in kind of on the bottom of the kitty totem pole, if you will, and the adult cat will feel less threatened, and the young cat is going to be less apt to want to kind of take charge and challenge in that situation. So those are some of the really big things, and then combining that with making sure you have, when you do get these guys in the same environment, that you have lots of resources for them. So resources for cats means lots of water bowls, food bowls, extra litter sites. So you should have at least 3 sites where these cats can have options in different areas of the house to eliminate. So you want to kind of make sure that there's not a lot of competition, even in a physical sense, where they have to cross over to one part of the house to get to that food bowl. And then you'll have a happier feline household if there's less things to argue and fight about.
All right. Nope, that's it. Thank you.
Thanks for calling, Cara. Send us pictures. We want to see this brand new addition to your family, okay?
Okay, thanks.
And don't forget, you can see these pictures and everything we're talking about during the week over at the website and on our Facebook page at Animal Radio. And, of course, the Animal Radio app. Can't say enough about that. Download it. It's free.
You're listening to Animal Radio. If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
If you're a diabetic, we have great news. You can end the painful finger sticks with a new CGM. Plus, they may be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. If you use insulin or have had hypoglycemic events, you may qualify. Call US Med now to learn more.
800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. That's 800-434-5019.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
I'm Stacey Cohen for Animal Radio. A helpful eBay seller is going to great lengths to make sure that somebody's pet guinea pig is as safe as possible. Sean McCoy, or Mighty SOX as he's known online, is auctioning off a chain mail and helmet combination designed specifically for one of the tiny rodents. Yes, your guinea pig could have his own helmet. McCoy says he made the armor himself for his own guinea pig, Lucky, who was unlucky and unfortunately passed away over the weekend.
I took a nap, he took a nap, I woke up, he didn't.
Oh, that's so cut and dry. So in honor of Lucky, he plans to donate all the money raised from the armor sale to the Metropolitan Guinea Pig Rescue in Round Hill, Virginia. Now, the auction, the last time we checked, the bids had already surpassed the $1,400 mark for a little helmet. An Alaska man could be facing criminal charges after he goaded a bear with barbecue and ended up getting mauled. State troopers told the Anchorage Daily News the man was attending a picnic at a campground when he decided to take his barbecue on a bike ride. Well, he ran across a black bear. He tossed the bear some meat, like, get away from me, here's some meat. Well, the bear ate the meat, but attacked the man when he offered it more. He suffered puncture and scratch wounds and was treated at a nearby hospital. Officers believe he had a little bit too much to drink during the picnic. I saw pictures of that. Oh my gosh, you could see the claw marks actually in his skin. It was horrific. An Indiana man's recovering after his puppy. Ready for this? This is another kind of weird story. Not that any of my other stories aren't weird, but an Indiana man is recovering after his puppy gnawed off a couple of his toes. According to Indiana's WTHI-TV, Roger Brown of Brazil, Indiana, has been hospitalized when he woke up with a blood-soaked left foot. It was chewed on by a 6-month-old pit bull named Bo. The dog was actually able to chew off Brown's pinky toe and his big toe, as well as taking a significant chunk out of his actual foot. He blames himself for the incident. Apparently, Brown, who's disabled and diabetic, and doesn't feel very much, had a wound on his foot, which was caused by diabetes. Well, he'd been treating the wound and wrapping it tightly before he went to bed. However, he says on the night of this strange incident, he hadn't been as careful as he should have been. Even though the dog has left him permanently disfigured, Brown decided not to euthanize the dog. Instead, he plans to continue raising and caring for the puppy. Do we really want him to continue to raise and care for this puppy? I mean, how could you not wake up when something's, munching on your foot? My dog's licked my toe or something, and I'm like, get out of here. Stop that. I'm Stacey Cohen. Get more animal breaking news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update. Get more at animalradio.com.
Don't forget, you can get your fix of Animal Radio anytime you want with the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. It's made possible by Fear Free, helping your pets live their happiest, healthiest, fullest lives at home, at the vet, and everywhere in between. Visit them at fearfree.com to find care near you.
You're listening to Animal Radio. If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
We'll head back to the phones for Dr. Debbie, dog trainer Alan Cable, dog father Joey Villani, and animal communicator Joy Turner in just a couple seconds. But we want to take some time to visit with Kenny Lee Lewis, guitarist of the Steve Miller Band, joining us just about to kick off their, 3-month tour you got going on?
Yeah, we'll be back sometime around August 12th. Hi, everyone.
You have taken Fly Like an Eagle to a new level.
Oh, well, thank you so much. My influences, back in those days were all the English Invasion guys. Jeff Beck is one of my favorites, of course, and Jimmy Page, Clapton, of course.
How old were you when you picked up your first guitar?
Well, my first acoustic guitar was my brother's Sears $40 Silvertone guitar, which sits next to me in my bedroom still to this day. And that was up in the 6th grade, so I was probably about 12.
Tell us about your animals. Do you have a dog?
I do. I have a dog. She's a Papillon, Faline Papillon named Sophie, and she's quite a character. My daughter got her grade point average up. So we said, you can have a dog if you want, and she got this wonderful little Papillon, and she's become a member of the family now, and she's quite a character. I mean, these dogs were bred down from miniature English Spaniels back in the 15th century, and were a part of the French court and everything. And they're just very interesting. They really love people. They're not that interested in dogs, although they'll say hi. But, she's always depressed when we take her to the dog hotel. She really wants to just be with people.
I love the papillons. That's the name. It's a French word for butterfly because they have those big butterfly-like ears.
Right, but this particular one is a throwback. Her ears are down. Plus, she's very large for Papillon. The Papillons back during the turn of the century were in the 10 to 12 pound class, and that's what she's in. But most of them now that you see, like you were talking about with the perky ears and everything, are crossbred with long-haired Chihuahuas, and they're kept down to about 6-7 pounds. And that's the one you usually see at a dog show.
Now, when you say they've become, or that Sophie's part of the family, what does that mean? Is she sleeping in the bed? Is she eating? Are you giving her treats at the table? What are you doing to spoil her?
Thanks for reminding me all that. She gets all that. She doesn't sleep with my wife and I. We decided to put her in a dog bed at the end of the bed.
Mm-hmm. And that worked?
We just didn't want to have, we have an acre of land, out there on Los Osos Valley Road and Foothill and Slow, and she goes outside whenever she wants. She never runs away, so she can go out whenever she wants, but she comes back with all kinds of stuff on her fur and stuff, so we're trying to make it so it's a little more sanitary for that. But she sleeps with my daughter. She doesn't care. So, yeah, she gets treats all the time. And one thing that she does do that we, with treats on it, she started playing the piano one day.
Wow.
And because my wife is a great piano player, Diane Steinberg-Lewis, great pianist. She accompanies all the choirs and stuff from down the Central Coast, and she's a singer, writer, artist herself. And she plays the piano all the time. And so the dog would try to get attention. She'd go over and play the piano, and we'd give her a treat, just to see if she'd do it again for a hoot. Now it's to the point where we don't treat her. We just applaud.
Wow.
She goes throughout the applause, and once in a while she'll get a treat. If she plays something really hip, we'll give her a treat.
Well, that's the same way you learned, didn't you? Didn't Steve, he would throw you a treat every once in a while and then just...
As a matter of fact, the solo that you were talking about this on the internet, that was a bone that was thrown to me one night when Joe Satriani had just played his solo, and I had no idea he was going to throw me a solo, so he threw it to me, and I just said, okay, watch out, so I did it. And it went on to a video that we released as a free thing with our box set, and it was something that couldn't be, edited out or taken away or whatever. So it was a solo that got to, get on a media that will be around for a long time.
Yeah.
So that's why I put it on my website.
Maybe you could work the dog into the act somehow. I'm just trying to help you out, a little extra cash, maybe.
I've shot some video of her. Sometimes we're watching a movie and there's like a real creepy scene and stuff. She'll play some real weird Bella Bartok stuff, close voices because her paws are small, as you know. But she'll play some really hip stuff, and we'll go like, wow, that was as good as anything that any of our friends have ever underscored. And so that's when we give retreats. Say, do that again. But, yeah, that would be pretty funny. I've shot video of her, but I still haven't posted on Facebook. I don't know. I guess I'm just trying not to be too crazy with that because so many people post their animals. I don't want to be one of those. Yeah. But
we're all one of those around here.
Now, your tour all across the country, some great tour dates. You can check out SteveMillerBand.com to learn more. And I wanted to mention this before we go here. You have a great CD, kind of a jazzy thing going on. It's a side project, has nothing to do with Steve Miller, but it's your own work, and it's a pretty tasty little CD.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. Did it quite a few years ago with some of the former Steve Miller band members.
I wanted to mention that Kenny Lee lives in San Luis Obispo, so if you're listening on KVEC or on XM Satellite, he's in your town. This is where he lives, and this is where you'll see him at the dog park with Sophie. You take the dogs out?
Yeah, we go to Laguna Park all the time. Like I said, she goes around and says hi to everybody for about 5 minutes, then she looks at me, she goes, okay, I'm done, let's go.
Well, Kenny, I appreciate you taking time to spend with us today. Go give Sophie a big old hug from all of us and have a great tour.
Thanks for supporting animal lovers all across the world. Stay in touch.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Time keeps on slipping into the future.
Check out Animal Radio highlights. All the good stuff without the blah, blah, blah. Browse on over to animalradio.pet.
Hi, it's Alan Cable. Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to talk about something unpleasant to you and me. Very unpleasant, but totally natural to some dogs. I think you probably figured out dogs will eat just about anything, including their own you-know.
Whoa!
And as gross as that sounds and looks, it's common. Sometimes it can be a sign of loneliness or being bored. Could be anxiety, or maybe your dog is copying other dogs. Sometimes it's because the dog learns that when there's number 2 around, he gets punished. So he's actually making it disappear so you won't be mad at him. Sometimes he's just cleaning up his living space. And yep, sometimes a dog enjoys it. It really doesn't present a problem except that we hate seeing it. And, a lot of folks like when their dogs give them their kiss. And if you know your dog's doing that, it's going to click in your brain after it's already too late. First thing you can do to try to stop it is to give your dog more attention and lots of exercise. And feed him more than once a day so he has something to look forward to. And also because it'll keep him from getting hungry throughout the day and tempted. Also, pick up after him as quick as you can. Like we said before, he might be cleaning his living space, which is your job. The most important thing, though, is to first make sure there's nothing wrong by taking him to the vet. There could be something physical causing it, like worms or other parasites, because they rob your dog of essential nutrients. He might be eating whatever he can find to make up for it. As always, the way to stop a dog from doing something like chasing cars or, what it is we're talking about that we don't want to talk about, is to make a quick, firm correction and teach your dog the command, leave it or no bite. It's almost like a shove in the shoulder. Hey, leave it. You can do it by tugging on a leash real quick, again saying leave it or no bite, or by a quick poke with your fingers in the neck, while at the same time saying leave it or no bite. Something to change his attention, to take it away from what he's doing. And as soon as he stops the behavior you don't want him to do, you praise him. Maybe even give him a treat. That's probably the most important thing. Always remember to praise your dog for desired behavior, because you want to set your dog up for success. Hey, thanks so much, and as always, get more tips at animalradio.com.
Is diabetes keeping you from enjoying life's special moments? At US Med, we understand the challenges you face, and we're here to help.
With US Med, I can finally manage my diabetes without it managing me.
US Med offers a wide range of services to simplify your diabetes care. Personalized care plans, convenient access to cutting-edge diabetes tech, and knowledgeable support. Plus, we'll check your insurance so your diabetes care may be covered at little or no cost to you.
With US Med, I feel confident and control of my diabetes. I can finally live my life to the fullest.
Don't let diabetes hold you back. Choose US Med and experience better birthdays, better adventures, better anniversaries, and better everything. Call now. US Med. Better service. Better care. 800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. That's 800-434-5019.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Find us at animalradio.com. Log on, learn more.
Hey, Scott, how you doing?
Fine. How are you guys?
Good. Where are you today?
I'm in Clinton, Iowa.
Clinton, are you listening on KROS? Is that KROS?
No, I didn't know they had it here in town. I listened to it on XM in the semi.
Oh, good. So you're at OTR.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I got Doc Deb here. She's like, stop asking them their life story.
I'm here to work. Come on now. What's going on there, Scott?
Well, I adopted a teacup Chihuahua, a 6-month-old one, in California here a couple of weeks ago. And my concern is I live in Iowa where it can get to 30 below in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And I'm just concerned about her well-being coming from a warm state to a colder climate.
Okay. Well, and for me, I'm going to tell you, it doesn't matter what she's used to. As a teacup Chihuahua, she is not a cold weather dog, no matter where she lives. So I'd say it's impractical to expect that we're going to really acclimate her to cold temperatures. Chihuahuas in general, they just don't tolerate cold really well. That's why you see all those little cutesies walking around with those, sweaters and fleeces and the hats and the gloves. Oh, no, not all of that, but but that's why we dress these guys up, because they really don't have the body fat and the body size to really generate and to maintain their own body temperature in that extreme weather. So you're good to definitely be aware of that and to be watchful. So as far as the basic things, for a little teacup Chihuahua or any Chihuahua under 55 degrees, I really start to take extra measures. So that may be things like sweaters, fleeces, and actually I can tell you from my own experience with Boss, my little terrier mix, some of the best warming cover-ups aren't necessarily just the knitted sweaters. They actually do make down jackets for dogs, and the fleeces are actually quite warm. So those are very nice, and Boss highly recommends them, I will tell you that. So those would be some basic things. Now, you also want to keep in mind the potty training for these little guys, because some of these little doggies are quite diva-like, and in snow weather, especially below zero weather, we need to make accommodations. So you want to think of that now while the weather is kind of in the temperate zone, so you can plan. Some doggies will do great going outside as long as you keep that snow shoveled and you give them a clear path, and they don't have to go outside their means to really go eliminate. But otherwise, you can train them inside on one of those little potty patches.
Well, she's pretty good about the pads, and I have a doggy door, and she goes out all the time. She loves her backyard.
Okay, good.
My main concern is like the pads on the bottom of her feet, you know.
Sure. Yeah. So with that, you can definitely... Yeah, you can definitely do doggy boots, or even just kind of the little slip-ons for them to go outside. You have to watch that. Yeah, those little feet with long periods of time on frozen surfaces definitely they can get some freeze bite. So you want to be aware of that. For just kind of getting her acclimated to go outside in that, you're really, just carry her outside, put her down, let her do her biz, and carry her back in. That's going to be the best way to kind of gradually acclimate her to that. But if it's really extreme temperatures, something that it burns your face when you're going outside, I really would advocate using the booties just to protect those feet. And then, other things I may not have mentioned, heated dog beds. Sometimes these little guys, even in Las Vegas winters, believe it or not, these little guys come in shivering when it's 40 degrees outside. So if you have a heated dog bed and she's not the type that might chew or destroy any of that type of thing, that can be a really great way to kind of keep them warm and to kind of reward them after they go outside to do their business.
There's something else I want to add.
She's got a nice warm water bed to sleep in.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, wow.
I want to talk about this other product that I just saw, and I actually got a sample at Super Zoo.
Does it make noise?
No. Okay. It's called Comfy Tails, and it's Kumfy.
What is that?
Tails, Tailz. What it is, it's a fleece jacket, but it has an insert. It's a gel pack, and what you can actually do is put it in the microwave. You heat this gel
without
pack.
the dog. You put it on before you put it on the dog.
Yeah. You take the gel pack, you put it in the microwave for a few seconds, and then you insert it in this coat, and it goes underneath her belly, and then you wrap the coat around her, and it'll keep her warm outside for a long time. And you can also make it cold, too, if it's real hot weather. But it's called Comfy Tails. And it's a thermal pack, and I got one for my little dog. She's 8 pounds and gets cold.
Not one of those frilly things, is it? All kinds of
It's
colors
a fleece
and pink.
coat.
And
There's different colors,
fleece,
but
okay.
this gel pack is amazing, and it just stays on their underbelly and it will keep them warm. So look up Comfy Tails.
That's
We already got one from PetSmart.
You do? Oh,
Yeah.
they're
My
awesome.
wife went shopping spree with her one day and bought a bunch of stuff.
You spoiled her.
Oh, yes.
Well, that sounds like you've already got kind of some of those basic things. So, I mean, really, Scott, I think we got to remember these little guys are just so sensitive to the cold weather, and a little extra TLC, keeping that baby warm. Is this little one going to be traveling with you in the truck or staying at home?
Stay at home. I got a pit bull boxer, and I got that I've called you about that had hip dysplasia, and your tips on that helped her.
Oh, fabulous.
That's the one that goes with me in the semi all the time. And then I got a purebred Irish pit bull.
Oh, well, we appreciate you being a follow-up and a frequent caller here, Scott. And give this little baby a good pat on the head. And you got a little time to get her acclimated before that cold winter chill comes. Thank God.
She's beating up on her teddy bears right now.
Well, thank you for your call, Scott. We appreciate it. Call back if you need any more help there. We always like to be of help because most people, let's face it, a lot of people call and say, you guys think you're know-it-alls, don't you? I'll go into 7-Eleven.
They say that to you, Hal.
Well,
maybe
okay, maybe they do. They say, Hal, you're always trying to take credit for Dr. Debbie and Alan. What? Well, have yourself a safe and fun weekend with your animal. Go take them out right now. Give them a little exercise. We're going to do that with Ladybug, the studio stunt dog. And we'll see you next week right here on this fine station for more Animal Radio. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a great day, everybody.
This is Animal Radio Network.